Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to No Filter Gen Z. I'm joined with Vidana and Lydia today. Welcome back to the show, guys, and welcome back to No Filter. If you're new here, welcome to the show. We're young Americans that are fighting to defend the truth, and we're not afraid to stand on the truth no matter what backlash we get, no matter what worldly opinions come at us, because we know the one opinion that really matters. But today we're going to get into the newest stuff going on in the House of Representatives, guys. So I don't know if you've heard, and I don't know if the people watching have heard, but there is a huge bill that has to pass. They have to pass this in like the next, I guess, in the next 24 hours or whatever, or the government will get shut down until after the holidays. So there's a lot to talk about there with that. Just to refresh the memory of people watching, I'll bring up a little thing on the show real quick. So this is what's going on. So the House rejects the newest bill that came from the Trump and Johnson. So there was an original bill that had a lot of stuff in it. Trump didn't like it. Elon Musk didn't like it. So they talked about it. This was the difference. This much change from the first one to the second one. First one, Republicans were like, no way, we're going to keep all this in. And then Doge, this amazing, awesome new agency, I love it, got it down to this small. No pay raises for Congress, no transfer of whatever, global engagement center extension, none of this stuff that we don't need, right? And so we got this new one, which also failed to pass in Congress after 35 Republicans voted against it. So we have this mandate from Trump, right? We know he's the president that's coming for the new administration, and we all are kind of in agreement that we elected him, and he had an opinion on this, and still 35 people voted no, and 9 other Republicans didn't vote at all. So that's a lot I just said. But what do you guys think about this whole bill and kind of the Republicans going against the new Make America Great Again movement with disagreeing with Trump?
I'm kind of frustrated, honestly, because of the fact that they got it down so much from what it originally was. I mean, it was over 1,500 pages. I mean,
Yeah.
that's ridiculous. And there were so many like hidden things within this bill. I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, there was something that had to do with, giving funds to people from the hurricane
Mm-hmm.
to rebuild. So there was like all this like extra spending in there, but then it was like almost like an ultimatum in a way. It was like, oh, but if you're not gonna, pass this bill, you're gonna not pass money going to all these people that need it, in North Carolina and all of those states. And so that was kind of frustrating. And then this whole thing where there are Republicans that are not voting.
And
All
like,
I
what
have
are
to
you
say,
doing? Why are you not voting?
and the
Right.
thing is, it breaks off the unity. We need to be unified because we have majority, and what are we doing with it? Apparently nothing, because majority of Republicans are in agreement, but there are still some that are dragging their feet, and they need to get with the program
Right.
because nothing's going to get done if there's not unity. And it's
Right.
frustrating as, the American people, and you're looking at this and you're seeing that, nothing will move forward. And if the government shuts down, until after the holidays, that's not really a good thing, especially what we've been dealing with at the White House with Biden
Yeah.
and spending.
No,
Fidana?
for sure. I second what you stated, Lydia. And for them to have taken their time and bring it down to that size, like the pictures that you show us, it was humongous.
I know.
And then you shrink it down to just like, it looks like it's just like 20 pages. And they still don't want to vote. And I feel like the reason why they don't want to vote is because maybe they're benefiting from the first one,
Yeah.
but this one is kind of like, no, this is not necessary. This is not necessary. So once you start cutting where people are probably benefiting from, they're probably not going to want to vote,
Yeah. That's what it seems.
Republican or Democrat, it seems like, So I feel like, the days are going fast, and this isn't something for them to keep on dragging their feet about. This is something that's urgent, and it matters, because if the government shut down during the holidays, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
Yeah, no one wants it to happen, but it might have to happen if these people can't agree on a simple thing. I mean, just the fact that there's so much stuff that was unnecessary to the point we could just remove it and vote again, and really get that many Republicans to agree, that means a lot. That means there was so much stuff that we're wasting our money spending on when we could
Right.
just focus on these key issues, which, by the way, the hurricane stuff, I think that should be one of the main things in this bill. I do think we should be giving money for these hurricane victims because we've given so much to Ukraine and not enough to the American people. But then
Yeah.
there's even more funding to Ukraine in this bill. There's other
Mm.
things that are outside of relief that are just like stacked up about different topics, and I can actually bring up a little breakdown real quick of some different stuff that's in this bill. So of course disaster assistance I completely agree with, but
Right.
there's other stuff in this that, I mean, not a lot of people even, I don't even know if they read this whole thing. 1,500 pages in that amount of time. I just don't even think they can.
There's no way, honestly. I mean, you have
Right.
to like skim and look at certain sections, but then that means you miss details and little things in there that, could be very
Matters. Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the problem is with all this is, if we the people did elect Trump, and we the people also elect Congress, but if they can't vote on our behalf, then there's no point in even having them vote, you know?
Right.
It's kind of taking away from the point. But
Exactly.
Speaker Johnson had a great idea. I actually like him. A lot of Republicans are like iffy about him. I actually like him. He said that we should bring this bill back up in individual pieces and vote on the individual, I guess, sections of it, like disaster and then other. I mean, that's probably the best thing to do in this situation where people can't agree on the whole thing, right?
Right. Right.
That's the
No,
only way forward.
that would help, honestly. And I think maybe it would bring a lot more clarity, since it would be one by one instead of like a whole major draft of paper for them to feel pressured to go ahead and vote. And a lot of the people that are in position are people who are way past their prime time,
Yeah.
Yes.
and so they can be they can
It's
they
true.
can be a bit stubborn.
Yeah.
They really can. And a lot of them, they're not going to retire out of these positions to put in new blood. They wouldn't want to. They've been doing politics all their lives,
Mhm.
and so dragging their feet is all part of the politicking that they're doing, you know.
I
Yeah.
think of Mitch McConnell too when I think of that, when you say that they're just past their prime, and he was one of the ones, I think, either that voted no or didn't vote. I don't remember what I heard, but I remember hearing that and I was like, he
Yeah.
always like he's one of the ones I feel like that seems to drag his feet.
Well, the problem is he is half the time like frozen, looking into
Yes.
nowhere, which is
Catatonic.
like
It was
a health issue. He needs to be like at home. He shouldn't be in Congress still. I just don't. I
It's
mean,
sad.
it's not surprising. Biden's still the president, so they don't
Right.
really care.
Yeah.
They put whoever in whatever positions, but to vote on these kind of things, I feel like you do need to be in the know about it. You can't just be there to make the money. Like, I feel like a lot of these people that voted no is because there wasn't those pay raises that were in the original one that people
Exactly.
want. They want to get more money.
They're not benefiting.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
all selfish ambition. It's personal gain, really. And so, I mean, the government's there for the exact opposite. If you can't serve the
Right.
people, then you shouldn't be in power in the government. That's kind of the
Right.
whole situation.
And you don't go in the government with the hope of being rich, which is what a lot of these politicians, it seems like, have come out. Like they might have come out in the thousands and then come out being a millionaire. If that's
Oh
the
yeah,
case,
all the
every
time.
American citizen should apply to be in those titles and those positions that have made them out to be millionaire, because it seems like it's working for them. And the only person that's about to be in the government that doesn't want a paycheck is Trump, essentially, because he has
He
ways.
never took a salary first term.
Yeah, he doesn't need it. And it just shows you like there's not that sense of greed like all the other ones,
Yeah.
because he could have been like, you know what? I mean, he's worked really hard, all the campaigning that he did to reach as many people as he did. He could have probably used it to maybe pay off some of the programmings that he was using, because it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But it just shows you that his heart is not in it for the money, but it really is for the American people and what he believes in.
And isn't it funny that he is the one that everyone hates, the one that's actually not even there for the money? Like, I think that makes a big difference in how you see things when you already have everything you need. And he could easily accept more money. No one
Right.
says no to more money, but he
Right.
actually genuinely cares about the country. to the point where he wants to donate his salary. That's amazing. And then I think of people like Elon Musk too. Now with the Department of Government Efficiency, which looks like they're already at work, which is awesome, but he also already has he has a net worth of $400 billion. He doesn't need money. He doesn't need it. He's not even getting paid to do this stuff. He came out and said that him and Vivek aren't getting paid to be in those positions, and they're still here at work to make sure that the government doesn't waste more money because he cares about the country.
It shows how much it matters. This particular, cabinet branch now. I mean, this is so important, and this just shows that the reason they're not taking money is because they know how much we need it.
Yes, exactly. And you look at people like Nancy Pelosi, who came in with not a lot of money and now is very wealthy.
Yeah.
There's examples like that, even on the Republican side too, that people are there for the wrong reasons, and of course they're going to vote no on a bill that doesn't benefit them.
Yeah.
So
I just hope we can move forward and for this to not keep lagging on, because it's ridiculous. But like I said, a lot of them are in their prime and they're just slow.
Yeah. And Vance, that's his name. JD Vance just came out. It was like a quick interview. He was walking after the result of this bill, and he says, you know what? Shut it down. If they can't come into agreement, shut it down. And that honestly might be the best option at this point, because after the holidays, we get into January and we come back with the new House and the new Senate with Republican majorities more than they are now, which would probably result in an agreement of some sort compared to right now. I feel like these people are trying to get their last little word in before they have to either give up power. Like the Democrats don't even have. There's only like 1 seat majority in the House for Republicans right now, so I think they're just using as much as they can before this all changes. It kind of seems like.
No, for sure. I definitely agree with you.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah, and so besides all the original stuff that was in it, why is there no, I guess, transparency on this stuff before it goes out? And it's like, I feel like the Mike Johnson thing with doing the individual things would lead to us knowing more about what is actually getting funded instead of a huge thing that no one even knows what we're spending our money on,
Yeah.
Well, I think when Lydia and I, we were on open mic the other day and on Michelle's platform open mic, I think we brought Mike Johnson up, and I think he was one of the guys that seems like he was leaning more towards the Democrat side, which kind of seemed a little bit like iffy, if that makes sense to you, because like being a conservative, like if you're a hardcore conservative, you're not going to try to compromise with the Democrat, and certain beliefs that you have or whatever. So I don't really know if Mike Johnson really have good intentions or motives behind what he's doing. I don't know. I can't.
Trump seems to be behind him. So
yeah, there seems to be twofold. I don't know with that thing, because I see Camden's point with like, I mean, I can understand potentially why he was doing what he was, as far as because he was trying to create a sense of unity. But then if you're constantly going over the Democrats and you're trying to bargain, that's not always smart to do, especially when you were voted in as a Republican.
So you're saying he's like negotiating too much with the Democrats, like letting them get in more than they should.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense too. I mean,
especially if we won majority, like, why do you feel like now you have to go?
Why are we acting like,
Well, clearly nothing's getting done right now. So do you guys think that he's going to stay in this speaker position or what come January? Or do you want new leadership?
I think he'll stay. I don't think he'll be like ousted. I don't think anything like that will happen.
I think it was Rand Paul or someone like that just said that he thinks someone that isn't in the House should be the Speaker of the House, which would be kind of cool.
Oh, see, that would be cool.
I mean, then they're not.
I agree.
They're not like
biased.
If you're in it, you're biased a little bit.
Yeah,
that's so true. Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah,
and not only that, but like if he does choose to stay in that position, he will be under the microscope. So it's he better act right now, or else,
He
he's
cut
gonna
him
be
partially.
vetted out.
Yeah, he's kind of already being under the microscope. Like right now is a big transition before the Trump administration comes in. So he is being looked at probably by everybody, and
Right.
to see if he's going to actually stand up to certain things. And I think that the people that voted for Trump and the people that voted for this new Congress coming in would actually support what you guys are saying, more not compromising as much on certain issues, which could be a good thing. So I think, I mean, there's a mandate clearly, so something's going to have to change from this current Congress when Trump comes in.
Yeah. No, there hopefully will be, people will be able to agree more and there'll be more unification than
This
there is
this
right
is
now.
why I wanted even more of a majority in the House though, because we
Yeah.
still can't agree as Republicans. Like we are not unified at all to the point where 38 vote against it. And then if this happens in the new House, we would still lose certain bills because we don't have that much majority. We're like,
Mhm.
we just got to be more in agreement. Like the Democrats, they are so
Yeah.
They are.
they agree with everything that each other are saying, but we don't. There's so much division in the Republican side. Why is that?
Well, I think one, I like, even being a Christian conservative, I think there are those who are conservatives and are not Christian, and then there are those that are like more Christian leaning than conservative.
Mm.
So I think that's literally what kind of like put the line down, if that makes any sense. Because just because someone's uh, a Christian doesn't mean the way that they're going to go about every single thing in a conservative matter. Most Christians sometimes they just vote conservative because they feel like they have no better choice than the Democratic side. So I feel like that's kind of where the division is, because you have different kind of Christians and different kind of conservatives,
Yeah.
and so like, the main thing sometime um isn't always the main thing, and I
Mm.
feel like that's where there's so much division within our party. Like, even there's all these different parties, even in Sarasota, where the Republican Party can't even come together in agreement,
Yeah.
you know
Yeah, even what's happening locally with the MAGA
right,
Republicans not even being allowed in the meetings, and as
right.
Michelle's talking about, what what is this though? Where the Democrats, why are they so much more in agreement than us? Why are we disagreeing on little things and they're able to come together on a bigger picture and we're not? Why is that?
It's a hive mind. I'm kidding. No, it's not a hive. I don't know. I mean, because I just think about like the whole thing, and I still don't even know how they do it, but I think about as far as with Kamala, even though like she was more so appointed by Joe Biden, they didn't select her
Right.
necessarily. They
Right.
didn't vote, through primaries or anything like that. So, but I mean, the fact that they all kind of like maybe masked how they really felt, because I think there is a lot of masking that happens, because
For
even
sure.
though like, it may appear, and that's on both sides, of course.
Yeah.
But I feel like honestly, maybe
Especially in
more.
politics.
Yes, and more so on, I think I would definitely say the Democratic side, but there was even like there was very liberal celebrities that were even like, I don't know about her." Well, especially they didn't know about Joe Biden, but they were thinking that maybe Kamala could be a step up. Clearly that didn't work out, but I think it kind of has to do a lot with that, because I think when Democrats maybe who might vary in opinion within their party, they might be afraid to speak up in their
Mm.
party
Okay.
and
Okay.
maybe feel a different way. So I think that might also play into it. Like I think, in a lot of cases and a lot of issues, there probably is just like a general agreement overall across the board 9 times out of 10. But I think, in some cases that there probably is like they might be afraid, because they might be afraid that their party turns on them and like, how could
Yeah.
you?
True.
Why would you
That's
want
a
to?
big part of it too.
Yeah, exactly. So, and obviously I would say that's just politics in general, like you said, Camden. So,
Yeah, I mean, and then there's also the rhinos that are in the House right now, Republican in name only, that we don't know exactly who it
yeah.
is, but there's certain people that really are there for the vote, and it's hard to sway against it. But I wonder if this latest bill is anonymous or not. I wonder if we know who these people that voted against it are, because clearly there are people that don't agree with a lot of Republicans. Like
Mhm.
the bill had 171 yeses from Republicans, so 38 Republicans somehow just don't agree when the other side of it, the Democrats had only 2 people disagree. I mean, that's a big difference when you're
Yeah.
talking about votes. And then the no votes, of course. But I don't know. I think that hopefully when Trump comes back in, we do have more of an agreement on certain things because he's going to
Well,
be expecting
yeah.
it, you know? He's going to be expecting that we do come together for the country and not so much like cutthroat Republican party, you know?
Hmm.
And of course, we're going to disagree with Democrats. Like, that's just a moral standpoint for a lot of the issues. But with Republicans, I think there's got to be something that just we need to get stuff done, and this Trump term is like our chance. So we have to agree on certain things to be able to do anything, you know,
Yeah,
especially in
exactly.
Congress.
Well,
That's
we'll see moving forward what it all will entail. Like, hopefully, no one that Trump has chosen to be a part of his cabinet don't turn on him. We don't want to do
I
this.
know.
Yeah. So,
You
yeah.
never know though.
yeah.
In other news, guys, something we haven't gotten to talk about a lot lately are drones. There's been crazy drone news, like all these weird looking things all over the United States, like
We,
500 in different states that people are just reporting everywhere. And the government really seemed to come out and say that there was no security threat and that these were like just authorized citizen drones, which I just don't know how they would even know without doing any kind of research, or I don't know why they don't just shoot one down and get it so they can see what it is. But
yeah.
how do you guys feel about just all this drone stuff?
I I don't even know because I remember when I had first I was like, oh no, because I remember wasn't this like a few years back? It was like the Chinese drones. There was like something going on, like surveillance. Like, wasn't there something
Yeah,
that had happened? Yeah,
there
and
was
I think
something that we did shoot down that was a
yes,
Chinese
and I was
spy.
thinking that when I was like, okay, like why haven't we done anything like that yet? And then I had heard Trump make a statement and he's like, if it was like some type of foreign drone, we would have already shot it down. That's what he said.
Right.
Yeah,
And so I'm like, that logic makes sense because in the past that's how we've kind of gone about it. And so I don't know. So I definitely think it's like something on the inside. It's something here. There's something happening. It could be like, and imagine if it was just like a drone, a high-tech drone from like someone's backyard. Like, what if they just like were trying to be like creepy and they like, got a drone? I mean, that would
it
be
could be,
absolutely
but there's so many that I'm like,
also that.
we need to
Yeah,
make sure that this isn't another country. You know, I
that's what
mean,
I'm saying.
Right.
Iran and China have ties in technology aspects, so I mean there could be something coming from one of them that if we don't know for sure, we should definitely make sure. You know,
Yeah, maybe let's like shoot one down. Like literally, like let's just.
I feel like it's all a distraction, to be honest
that's
with
the
you.
other side of it. You're
And
right.
that's usually what they do. It's either they find something crazy that happened in a certain state or a town and then put it in the news. So then that way it's like our minds are just I feel like that's the reason why this generation has ADHD, like because the news constantly
It's true.
is bringing something to distract us. And then next thing you know, there is this big agenda of what they were formulating behind the scene the whole time. I feel like this is just all a distraction, honestly, especially since we're just a few days down till Trump gets inaugurated. So they're going to try to do whatever it is that they can do to the American people to distract them while they have their big plan brewing.
So,
Yes, I may be considered a conspiracy theory, but I think I've lived long enough, more than 2 decades now, to know the repeated pattern that's just been going on, and it's tiring. And not only that, but they're telling residents in New Jersey, don't shoot at the drones. Like, okay, if they're not a threat, if you guys aren't getting intel or whatever it is, then why are they up in the sky to begin with? Why? And then on top of that, why are people citing them in multiple different states?
yeah.
You
Yeah,
know, these are the questions that people should be posing, but it doesn't surprise me because that's usually what happens with the mainstream media. They always have something to keep you distracted, and then boom.
Well, that's what I was gonna say too. Is the other side of this is it could be a distraction, but I
yeah,
mean even Trump has said that that Biden and the government knows what it is. They're just
yeah,
not
Right.
telling us. So
yeah.
my question is, if it is a distraction, if they do know what it is, what are we getting distracted from? What are we missing?
I mean,
I guess we'll find out.
I mean,
that's
isn't
usually
it?
it.
If that's what it is, it's scary how easily they can get everyone's attention on something, and we not even know what the thing is that we're not supposed to know about.
it's just weird, like the fact that it's in multiple states, and like, do they all look the same? Like, have we seen like any like variation in like?
I think there's a few different looking ones.
Yeah, I thought so because I was like, okay, like they're really trying to like throw you for a loop because they don't want them to all look identical, probably.
Yeah,
'Cause
but
then,
I'll tell you, I know what like a normal drone looks like. I've had drones before, and the regular like ones we would buy don't look like some of these. So that's why I was like kind of skeptical at first. I just don't know what. Do you think it's like a government thing? Do you think these are our drones, or do you think it could be something from a different country?
I almost had the suspicion, just not only solely based on what Trump had said, that like if it was something foreign, like we would have shot it down, because like maybe not always the case. Because with the Chinese drones, I think we waited, like we still did, but it took us a minute to do it. Like Biden like was like dragging his feet, but I feel like for some reason it's something within our government that's where I'm leaning more towards, but I'm just not sure. Obviously for what purpose? Distraction, absolutely. But
And it is from our government because they're telling people, oh, it's nothing serious.
Exactly.
Don't shoot it down or whatever. It's not harmful. Okay. And then on top of that, you pose the question, how come they're not telling us, Camden?
I know.
They never expose anything that they were doing. We had to be the one that kind of expose them with what they're doing. These people are going to be like, well, this is my agenda. This is what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. They always do it very
secretively.
Discreet. Yeah, they're always discreet with what they do.
This is what Trump posted. So, I mean, maybe it is some kind of...
That's crazy. I remember seeing that pop up on my page, and I was like, what?
He has no filter at all.
The most random AI-generated photos ever. I swear, it's so funny.
Yeah. I mean, but there's also this thing called Project Bluebeam. Yeah, Project Bluebeam that people talk about. I don't really know much about it, but I mean, here's one of these weird-looking drones.
Ugh.
It's just, I don't know. But Project Bluebeam is something that has been like a theory for a long time, that people think that either the government or someone's trying to get our attention to think that there's like an alien invasion, like to make us think that. So it could be like a distraction in the big picture, like Fidana was saying, but
it's good.
And aliens are demons, so for people to be like, oh my gosh, and it's a freaking demon, people like don't be giving it like a cool super nickname.
Yeah, don't let it probe your mind.
I don't know. It just seems weird. It seems like it. I don't know. I wish we knew more.
Yeah, hopefully we will. Maybe at some point when Trump gets back, maybe we'll be able to like declassify things and we'll be able to know. But yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. Yeah, but so we'll keep you updated, and probably next week we'll see what happens with this bill, if it passes or not, and then I don't know if we'll even know much about the drones until Trump gets in office, see if he does anything with it. But that's gonna be it for today, guys. I think that. There's just a lot of uncertainty right now with our government. There's so many things that keep happening that we're just like, we don't have any. I don't know. I don't have a lot of trust in them right now.
Clarity.
Mm-mm.
I never have.
Yeah.
No. It's a good point. But we'll definitely keep you guys updated. Thank you for coming to this episode, everybody. Click that subscribe button if you're new. Click the bell too. I haven't said that, but ring the bell so you get notifications when we post. We're here every Sunday, and our schedule might change a little bit going into the new year. We'll talk about it. But thank you, Fidana. Thank you, Lydia. We'll see everyone next week. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.